Yeah, he didn't know he was doing this. My name's Andy. This is Brenton, everybody. Come over here. You got to get in the light. Where you like to be? Yeah.
I'm an introvert.
He's an introvert. I want to get off the stage. I'm like, no, you're not getting off the stage. He didn't know he was doing this. But those first two songs that we sang, you wrote them.
Well, just the bad one. The good one.
And you have an accent. Where are you from?
I'm from South Africa.
South Africa. Does anybody like South Africa? Are you for South Africa? Yeah, yes. And so he is a songwriter. He lives here in Malibu and has been attending here for a while, and we're just glad you're here. And a lot of the songs that you hear on K-Love were written by Brenton. He's super humble and shy about that, but we're just grateful how God has been using you to shape the church in America with the songs that are the modern day hymns that are shaping our theology and shaping what we believe and understand about God.
Thank you, Andy. I'm just amazed they let me in the doors, man. I'm still surprised.
Well, just tell us, like the first song, Everlasting God. Where did that come from, or what inspired it?
Actually, my wife is here up there, Jude, with my two kids, Lulu and Bella. They're not going to stand. Yeah. They're also introverts. We actually, in our 20s, we fell ill with a condition called chronic fatigue syndrome. There's no known cure. We still have it. And in that period of time, we decided we were going to lean on the promises of God. And one of his promises in the book of Isaiah is that he says to Israel, do you not know, have you not heard? I am the everlasting God. I do not grow weary. I don't grow faint. Young men grow weary and youths stumble and fall. But those who wait upon the Lord will renew their strength. They will mount up on wings like eagles. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you, man. So you're every day being reminded, I'm trusting God. You are the S.
100%.
You are the everlasting God. Yeah. Had his home burned down also, rebuilding it, and so working hard at that as well. And
Mostly my wife.
Mostly her. Okay, let's give her a hand, everybody. Yeah, let's give her a hand. Let's give Brenton a hand. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. It's so good to have him in the church, in the life of the church. Just didn't know if you knew who he was. He is somebody. I went to coffee with Brenton, and I was like, do I know you? He's like, no, you don't know me at all. But anyway, then I went Wikipedia'd, and I said, man, I just had coffee with a rock star. So anyway, so good. Just the talent, all of us, just that the talent that God's brought here into the life of this church, and all of you are gifted and talented, and hopefully had a great Thanksgiving. Did you have a good Thanksgiving? Nobody clapped upstairs. So the group that did not have a good Thanksgiving upstairs, golf clap. All right, excellent. That's fine. And if you didn't, there's always next year. And but we're going to talk about Thanksgiving or thankfulness. And just to bring you up to speed one more time, some of you were walking in. Tomorrow we're doing the Deck the Halls, which is decorating our sanctuary. It's a fun evening for an hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever you can spare. It's a great opportunity not only to decorate the place and help us out, but you are going to meet some other people. And this is a great way for you to connect and say, hey, what's your name? Who are you? Other than Sunday mornings, because Sunday mornings you're looking at the back of somebody's head, and it's impossible to really get to know somebody. But when they're putting an ornament on a tree wrong, this is your chance to tell them how they're doing it wrong. This is your opportunity to really make those friends. So anyway, so that's happening tomorrow night. We will feed you. It's a fun evening, and just come for whatever you can. And then again, on Friday, as Joel said, make sure to invite a friend. We are planning this incredible evening for us and for our community. And again, it's another opportunity for us to say, we as a church are for Malibu, we're for your family, we're for each and every one of you. We just want to have some fun together, some laughter together. Laughter opens the heart of people so they can begin to be receptive. Acceptance paves the way to influence. So when people come on our campus and they feel loved, they feel accepted, there's joy, there's laughter, and when we laugh, it's a taste of heaven, because when we laugh from our guts, time stops. And that's a taste of heaven. God enjoys laughter. So we're going to be doing some sledding and having fun and food and a movie in here and all sorts of goodies. But really the goal is for you to invite your friends and just let them know the church is for you. We enjoy life, and hopefully we can start to build a relationship and build trust in our community that we are for them. So we want you to come just to meet people. If anything, that's your ministry. Why are you coming? I don't have kids. Because we just want you to shake some hands and talk to somebody. And I often look for somebody who's off to the side or in the back and they're alone, and go and say hi. Take the initiative. This is your church, and we are in Malibu, and we are here for Malibu. So that is Friday night. I think it's 6 o'clock. Did anybody see what time was it? 6 o'clock? Is that right? 6:30? 6:30. 6:30? Is that correct? We don't know. Show up on Friday night. Excellent. I don't even know. Anyway, did everybody get a thank you card and a pen? Did everybody? If you did not get one, raise your hand, please. Kelly, come down the row. Here we go. Come on down. Raise your hand. If you did not get a thank you card and a pen, everybody? Okay, wow, we did a great job at the front doors. Excellent, excellent, excellent. We just want to take a few minutes and talk about how important thankfulness is. And there was a study done on nuns who were in convents, and they discovered some nuns were living longer than others. And they did this survey, this research, and they discovered that the nuns who were thankful to be a nun and to be living a life of poverty and of prayer, but when they were thankful, they lived longer. And the nuns who were not thankful, they died early. So here's the point of the message. If you're not thankful, you're going to die. And here's a good way to teach the kids, be thankful or die, So that's something that you can really empower them with and encourage them. You're like, wow, I came to church, so encouraging. Yes, it is encouraging of how important it is, because everything, first slide here, and actually I didn't have the verse, but 1 Corinthians 4:7 says this, what do you have that you did not receive? It's a great question the Apostle Paul is asking the early church. What is it that you have not received? That's not been a gift to you. In other words, the air that we breathe, the tree that's outside this front window, the ocean that we can see over here, the food, the shelter, the people in our lives. What is it that you have that you did not receive? Your intelligence was a gift to you. Your talents and abilities are a gift to you. The family you grew up in is a gift to you. The places where we live is a gift. And being able to walk outside and look at the flowers, that is a gift. What is it that you experience in this life that you did not receive, that was not a gift, in other words? In other words, everything that we have has been given to us, and it is a gift. But the problem is that we're not always aware of it. And secondly, if we don't close the gift or the thankfulness loop, something is missing. For example, here's the gratefulness loop, and this is taken from Robert Roberts, who's a theologian, philosopher, thinker, and somebody named their child Robert Roberts. But anyway, yeah, he's such a good kid. Let's name him Robert, and our last name is Roberts. But anyway, that's what the parents named him. But here's what he came up with. He said this, benefactor, the giver. Bene, the word bene in Latin simply means good, a good gift. So the benefactor is the giver. And the benefactor does what? They give a gift, correct? A benefit, and that's where that word comes from. Benefit, a good gift, and that's the gift that we receive. And everybody, when you have a gift and you give it to somebody else, it is a beneficiary. They are the receiver. And there is a giving loop that somebody gives a gift to somebody. So that is part of the loop. But we often miss the middle part, or closing the loop of the gifts that we receive. And so this is what, I'm going to give it away. You probably already know this. A benefactor is a gratitude. It's thank you. And letting other people know that we are grateful for the gift that they gave us. Now, if we pay for the gift or the thing that was given to us, it's not a gift. It's transactional. So we close the loop by saying, we're paying you for the thing that you have given me. But it's not a gift, and there's no reason for us to be thankful for it, because scratch my back, I'll scratch your back. You give me something, I give you something. So it is an exchange. And so there's no reason for us to be grateful in that. But when a benefactor, a giver, gives a gift to a receiver, and somebody receives a gift, and you are not paying for it, Therefore, then, there is a loop that needs to be closed. And when the loop is not closed, something is missing in you and in the benefactor. Let me just throw the next slide up. It's this. Unexpressed gratitude is experienced as ingratitude. Can we all say this together? This is the bottom line. Unexpressed gratitude is experienced as ingratitude. Let's use our outdoor voices. Here we go. We're missing part of it now. We've had problems all morning because the power went out. And so our music outside stopped working. Our 3 cameras stopped working. And we said this, that every time that Brenton comes here, the power goes out or there's a problem. But anyway, so good leadership always finds somebody to blame. That's what I've learned. So anyway, unexpressed gratitude is experienced as ingratitude. Better way for us to remember this. In other words, when the loop is not closed, the person, if they do not hear a thank you or a gratitude for the gift that was given, the way the giver experiences the gift that they gave is that they are ungrateful. That the person who's giving it, and actually there is a sense of rejection, personal rejection, when the gratitude loop isn't closed. This also a little secret here for the kids, and I don't want the parents to hear this. Next slide. Go ahead, Alex. Yeah, is this. Our hearts gravitate towards recognition and gratitude. Every single one of us. Every single one of us want to be recognized. Every single one of us want to be seen. Every single one of us want to belong somewhere. And our hearts gravitate to environments where we feel accepted, where we feel recognized, where we have a name, and where other people express a gratitude towards us. In other words, teenagers, junior hires, high schools, if there is something you want, make sure you thank your parents for it out loud. Because when you do that, it melts their hearts. And whenever you say, thanks, Mom, thanks, Dad, I really, really appreciate that gift. Thank you for taking me to school today. Now, the problem that we have is we think the parent, they owe us something. We're entitled, aren't we, teenagers? I know this isn't true for adults. But as teenagers, we're like, yeah, no, we deserve this. They should be taking us to school. They should feed us every day. They should give us, this is, given at the hospital, an iPhone. They should, clothe us with the latest things that we're wearing. And when we have an entitlement to the things that we have, it keeps us from being grateful because it doesn't close the loop. I deserve the gift that was given to me. They owe me this. Where there is no gratitude, there is no acceptance, there is no recognition, and your parents' hearts get hardened, and I don't know, it'll be harder for you to get stuff. I love what the theologian, the thinker, the philosopher, Shaquille O'Neal once said. He said, somebody has to revive me here. I looked it up. There's an interview on ESPN. He says, no, all the stuff that I have is not my kids. It's mine. And I let them know every day, this is not your stuff. This is my stuff. Don't think you're going to inherit any of this because it's mine, and I'm going to give it all away. You need to go and earn your own stuff. In other words, the kids were like, no, Dad, Shaquille O'Neal, all this stuff belongs to us. And he reminded the kids, no, it doesn't. This is all my stuff that I've earned. But an attitude of ungratefulness causes people not to want to ever give again. So if you're a teenager, if you are a young person, and there's something you're really wanting, just a little secret here, start saying thank you out loud. It will melt your parents' hearts, and you will have them in the palm of your hand to get anything that you want. But the moment I know this doesn't happen with adults, only children, the moment we feel entitled to something, we don't feel grateful. They owe us that. I deserve that. That is not a gift. The air I breathe, the trees that I see, the life that I have, the beauty of what God has blessed us with, the children, the grandkids, our families, the chance and opportunity. I'm just speaking for myself to be in Malibu in such a beautiful place, in such a beautiful church, in a wonderful place, just an attitude of gratefulness. I just know that a couple of weeks ago I was getting a little frustrated about a couple things, and I was just feeling some anxiousness. I'm going, God, what is going on inside of me? And just my stuff. And I just was like, God, what do I do? And in my prayer time, just start being grateful. Be grateful for the little things that you see. And it's amazing how it changes our hearts, our attitudes, our joy for living when we close the loop. But the key, go back to the circle there, Alex. I told him I'd be going back and forth. But the moment that we close the loop, the benefactor, the giver, feels thanked for and recognized and begin to understand, and makes them also want to be more grateful again for the things that we have. There's this amazing story that happened in the scriptures in the book of Luke. And it happened in Luke 17, and Jesus experienced this, and I think it's a great story for us for this weekend. Luke 17, verse 11, it says this: Now on his way, Jesus was on his way to Jerusalem. A whole other conversation, but the entire book of Luke, he was a doctor. He documented Jesus and his story. He's one of the 4 Gospels, and he is very detailed, and if you look and you research on his way, Jesus was on his way to Jerusalem. Jesus was on his way to Jerusalem. Jesus was on his way to Jerusalem. Throughout the entire book of Luke, Jesus is heading to the cross. He knows where he's going. He knows what his purpose is. Anyway, whole other sermon. But Jesus is on his way to Jerusalem. Jesus traveled along the border between Samaria and Galilee. In other words, in this area, there was, in the border area, were the Jews and the Samaritans who did not get along with each other at all, hated each other with a passion. So if you want to talk racism, here we go. These 2 groups of people were at each other's throats to the point where they would travel on the other side of the street or the other side of town or the other side of the country to make sure that I would never, ever, ever run into a Samaritan. That could be the worst thing ever. And if you touched a Samaritan as a Jew, you would have to go cleanse yourself before you could ever go back to church. So you would avoid a Samaritan at all costs. And Jesus is on the way, and he's in between these 2 areas, Samaria and Galilee. Verse 12, as he was going to a village, 10 men who had leprosy met him. Now, in the ancient world, leprosy was basically is your death wish. When you got leprosy, people in the ancient world don't understand germs. Where does this come from? They thought it was highly contagious. So anybody who went out, anybody with leprosy would need to cover themselves, mask themselves, cover themselves completely, and stay away from the entire society. They are rejects. They created their own communities. They did their own farming. And as you will see later in the story, we believe in this area of Samaria with all the Galilee and Samaria were all of these people with leprosy, and there were Jews and Samaritans. A little side note. Whenever there is pain, whenever there's problems, whenever there's rejection, and we both are rejected, we can find a common bond. Politically and religiously, those things really don't matter when we have a common affliction. Samaritans and Jews were together, living together in this leprosy colony. Just an amazing little side note. We make politics and religion so, those people and them, and we're so different. Well, when we have suffering, we actually can come together, can't we? We learn to get along. So those 2 groups of people are there in leprosy, covering themselves, and they are outcasts in society, and they are not to be in society. Whenever there's a healing or something, Jesus interacts with people. Not only does he heal them physically, but what God is doing is restoring them relationally. He's saying, bring them back. So, verse 12 and 13, and they stood at a distance, because that's what they're supposed to be. Leprosy would just, the reason why it wasn't the disease, but people with leprosy, they would, you can't feel, you don't have any nerves. And so when you hit your hand or you cut yourself, they would just bleed, or just the wounds would just start coming off because they keep hitting themselves, and they would start losing some of their limbs or some of the flesh that they would have because they literally can't feel it. And the people with leprosy, they stood at a distance, which is what they should have been doing, probably fully covered, face masked, fully clothed, staying at a distance. And they called out in a loud voice, Jesus, Master. Very interesting word. The only people who call Jesus Master, or anybody would call somebody a master, is if you are a disciple, a follower of a rabbi. And they are calling him Jesus Master, which is the same word that a disciple, a follower of a rabbi would say. They are submitting themselves completely to who Jesus is. And they say, have pity on us. Verse 14, and when he saw them, Jesus saw them, he said, and this is Jesus' operative word. From the garden to Matthew 28, go into all the world. Go tell people. Ladies, go tell that Jesus is risen. Go, 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 go. All throughout the scriptures, Jesus is constantly saying, go, 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 go. So when the church sits in a building, in some seats, comfortable seats, and we believe church happens here, what happened to Be Rich is what the call of the church should be. Go out there. Go, go, go. Church is in motion. Go show yourselves to the priests. Interesting comment. They needed to go show themselves to the priests because the priests were the filter, or the ones who determined whether or not they can be entered back into society, re-engaged back into society. So a priest would say, yes, you're healed. No, you're not. Go back to the leprosy colony. No, you can join your family again and go back into community, or be restored back into community. So go and show yourself to the priest. Interesting, they hadn't been healed. And faith is a test here, and our mission of our church is to inspire people to explore faith. Practice things. That's what Be Rich was. Practice doing these things. Practice taking steps of faith. See what God does. Because when we take a step of faith, we experience God's faithfulness. He's telling them, go show yourselves to the priests. Nothing has happened yet. In other words, there's going to be a step of faith that they would be going to the priests, and they don't think they're healed yet, but just do it. So the beginning of Nike started here. Just do it. Just go. When God says go, 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 go and do it. Exactly. Go show yourselves to the priests. Verse 14, love this. And when he saw them, he said, go show yourselves to the priests. Oh, sorry, next part. And as they went, at the bottom part of the verse, as they went, what happened? They were cleansed. When we take a step of faith, we will experience God's faithfulness. We don't experience the miracle at first. We experience the miracle when we take a step. When God says, go, start doing it. I don't know what it is for you. Today, I think is just say thank you. Trust me what happens, the miracle that's going to happen when we close the thankfulness, the gratitude loop. Just go and do it. And so on their way, as they went, they were cleansed. They were healed. I know I lost it. Just stay with me. One of them, when he saw he was healed, he came back praising God in a loud voice. When he saw it, that Jesus helped him move forward with his life, he went back to thank him. You see, the people that are giving you gifts are helping you move forward in this life. That's why we're grateful. Praising God in a loud voice, he threw himself at Jesus' feet, and he, everybody, is it up there? And he, all outdoor voices, and he thanked him. And he was some implication, the 9 were Jews, and the one who was an outcast in society was the one that came back. The one that's felt rejected in society had the most grateful heart of all of them, and he thanked him. And Jesus asked him, which is a good question. Jesus asked, were not all 10 cleansed or cleaned? Were they not all healed? Jesus like, maybe my miracle didn't work. And then they're like, where are the other 9? You see, I'm sure they felt thankful. When you get healed of leprosy, they felt thankful, but they didn't express their thankfulness. Next slide, Alex. Because the bottom line is this. They felt it, but they didn't express it. Unexpressed gratitude is experienced as ingratitude. Actually, rejection is how the giver feels. We all feel grateful, but the benefactor, help me out, I forgot all the words now. The giver, thank you, benefactor, the giver, they experience it as rejection. And so Jesus is asking in this gratitude loop, were there not 9 others? Are they not grateful? Well, I'm sure they were. If you went and asked them, are you grateful that you're healed from, from this disease, from leprosy? Yeah, I'm grateful. I felt it, but I didn't express it. Chapter 17, verse 18, he said this, has no one returned to give praise to God except this foreigner, this outsider? Then he said to him, rise up and go. Your faith has made you what? Well. Relationally, spiritually, physically, he is restored in a relationship with God, restored in his relationship with his family, and restored in a relationship with his community. There is harmony again in his life. God does more than heal us physically. So here's the point. Unexpressed gratitude communicates ingratitude. One more time. Unexpressed gratitude is experienced as, communicates as ingratitude. So our challenge here today is this. Let's be the one. Let's be the one who is thankful. And my question to you is, what are the things that you're thankful for, and who are you thankful to? So we want to practice that today and actually do it. Because if we don't say it, it's not received. It's like it never, ever happened. What is the first thing our parents taught us with the little ones? When somebody gives your child a gift, and we say as parents, honey, say, I guess we're back at Sunday school today. Here we go. So maybe some of you didn't learn it. Here we go. So when somebody gives your child something, and you look at them, say, honey, they just gave you a pencil. What do you say? Thank you. It's immediately. It's in the moment. It's communicated, because then it closes the gratitude loop. If it's not expressed, it's like it never happened. Let me also say this. Just saying it to other people, I love my wife. She's incredible. She is the most amazing children's ministry person in the world. She does an incredible job taking care of kids, creating an environment that children are learning about Jesus, recruiting volunteers, equipping volunteers. She's unbelievable. I'm just going to say that to you. I'm not going to say that to her. Does that count? I need to say it to her, not you. So you never heard any of that, okay? I say this to dads all the time. Unexpressed gratitude is just a loop. You say, I'm so grateful for my kids. Well, the best way to thank your kids, be with your kids, love your kids, is to put them on your calendar. Telling other people how great and how excited and how much you love your kids doesn't mean anything. But writing it on your calendar and doing something with them and expressing your gratitude and the things that you see in your children and how wonderful and the gifts and the talents that they have to build them up, and words of affirmation and quality time and physical touch and, words of affirmation. So when you do that for your children, they experience it. You are closing the loop. So felt gratitude is still unexpressed gratitude. So today, this is what we're going to do. We're going to practice it. We're going to take 1 minute. The band is going to come up. We're going to sing a closing song. But we want you to take the thank you cards with your pens, and here's what we want you to write down. Here we go. You may be sitting next to them, so don't let them see this. I am thankful to, who is the giver? Who has given you a gift? for? What is it that they have given to you? The band is just going to play just a little bit for a minute, and we're going to stand. But I think today is a great day for you to send somebody a thank you note. I am thankful to. I am thankful to you, mom, dad, uncle, aunt, teacher, coach, friend, neighbor, somebody who's been in your life, who's given you gifts, and you're here today and helped your life move forward, and you're thankful for, and name it. And we wanted you to write this down, but I think this is a great, beautiful card. I don't know. How about actually sending it to them? What do you think? Two in the front row. Here we go. Anybody in the upstairs? Let's actually send it to them and close the gratitude loop. Ready, get set, go. Take 1 minute and fill it out.